Okay. All right, so let's start. Good evening. Thank you for. Good evening, Mrs. Nkwachi. Okay, so the very first thing I want to talk about is why is sleep important? Okay, I think I have to do an introduction. If you don't know me, I think everyone should know me by now. My name is Rita. I'm a medical student, not a medical doctor. And I am a wellness consultant. So my job basically, if you are wondering, who is a wellness consultant? I've never heard that name before. What I do is I basically teach you how your body works, okay? So one of the things that made me very interested in medicine was just learning about the human body. Why is this working like that? What's the cause of this and that? And surprisingly, when you know these things, I try to simplify it as best I can. When you know how your body works, you understand what next to do, sort of. Okay, so that's my job. I help you understand what's how your body works, and then I give you the best lifestyle and dietary recommendations moving forward. Okay, so I don't give medical advice. I don't prescribe medicine. You have to go to your doctor for that. Okay, but I simply simplify things down for you, teaching you how your body works, what's the cause of what you are going through, and how can you get rid of that thing, okay? So today we're going to be talking about sleep. Sleep is actually very important. It's as important as your diet and exercise, okay? And it's also some people's reasons. It's one of the reasons why some people suffer from hypertension today, simply because they don't sleep well, okay? So if I remember correctly, 5 different things can cause someone to be hypertensive. The first thing is atherosclerosis, which is basically the medical term for plaque buildup, okay? And that's what the very first webinar, the first time we met, that's what I explained, plaque buildup. And the next thing can be exercise, lack of physical activity. So if you majorly live a sedentary sort of lifestyle, you wake up in the morning, you go to work, you come back, you sleep, you repeat the same thing again over a period of years, it can lead you to be hypertensive, just that lack of physical activity. Another thing again is lack of sleep, okay? So it's one of the causes. It can be a reason why some people are hypertensive. Another reason can be your weight. If you are overweight or if you are obese, it can also affect your blood pressure, okay? So hopefully we'll get to treat these causes one by one so that you know where exactly you fall into and you can start treating yourself properly, okay? Because sincerely, if you could be done with hypertension just like that, you know, if you could take a medication just like that for it, I think those in the medical field would have come up with something by now in this 21st century. So getting rid of hypertension is mostly a you work other than a product's work. I would explain what that means later. But I remember speaking to a client today. He asked me how many packs would he need for him to be really, really done with hypertension? How many wellness packs would he need to be really done and say, okay, bye-bye to hypertension? Now, if you are following like a strict dieting plan, that would take about 12 to 16 weeks for you to see results, okay? And even those people that take the dieting routes that have all of the ingredients they need, some of the ingredients you need specifically for the original DASH diets, you don't have those in Nigeria. Okay, so even if you want to pass through that, your results usually wear off within a year. Okay, So usually it takes about 12 to 16 weeks. That would equate to 5 to 6 packs. But getting rid of hypertension is more of a you thing than a product thing. Products will simply help to accelerate your success and go through those lengths that you may not be able to go through on your own or with your diets. One of these things is better sleep, better energy. Some of you that suffer with body pains, it can help you with those things. Also reduce your plaque buildup as well. Your supplements can also help you with that, especially if it contains a very good source of antioxidants. It will definitely help you with those things, okay? But you also have to exercise and you also have to watch your dieting intake, okay? So sorry for digressing. Our topic for today is sleep. Okay, so the amount of sleep that you get can actually affect your entire day. And for people who suffer from insomnia, now, not everyone that suffers with poor sleep is suffering from insomnia. Not everyone who has a blood pressure of over 120 is hypertensive. I remember I spoke about that in my previous live session. If you know that your blood pressure has never gone above 140, please don't call yourself a hypertensive patient. You are not a hypertensive patient, okay? Sleep also is very necessary in helping your body repair, regenerate, and recover. I remember saying, for those of you who have known me for a while, like since October, I remember saying that your body cells are constantly regenerating. That's why you are able to recover, especially from things like hypertension and even cancer, because your body cells are constantly regenerating. But if your immune system is not healthy enough, if you don't get a good nutritional intake, that regeneration might be poor. Okay, so let's discuss some basic sleep hygiene. The first thing is to keep your room cool. Now, Nigeria doesn't really help us with that most of the time. When we don't have electricity, you find out that your room is basically hot, and some people cannot sleep in that condition. Personally, I can't. My brother also can't. The minute he starts sweating, he just wakes up. So one of the reasons why you may not be sleeping properly at night is because you don't have proper ventilation or a good cool temperature to allow you sleep very well, okay? And you can also set a bedtime that's early enough for you to sleep. So some of you in the working class, some of you sleep by 10 p.m., 11 p.m., 12 p.m., by 5 again, you are up going to work. So part of the things you can do to get proper sleep is to try sleeping early enough, okay? And you can also keep a to-do list the night before. This is actually one of my routines. I write down everything I'm meant to do the next day so that I don't wake up in the middle of the night to start worrying, especially as a medical student. Sometimes we have like a huge workload of things that we should read, and even some lectures that we call DLA, where we are supposed to just watch and basically teach ourselves. So it's like something we're meant to go to class for, and we are meant to be taught by the lecturers. We kind of like teach ourselves in turn. And sometimes it can get exhausting. So what I have to do is I have to keep a to-do list. If not, I will definitely wake up in the middle of the night to start worrying about this and that, you know. So some of you as well, you can keep a to-do list just to make sure that you are not up at night thinking about one or two things and you are getting enough sleep, okay? And you can also establish a relaxing bedtime routine. Some people cannot sleep, especially if you've had a very stressful day and you live in Nigeria, or like you take the transport, things like that. When you come back, you have to shower before bed for you to really sleep well. Yeah, so for some people, they have that relaxing sort of bedtime routine. If you are a lady and you have a skincare routine, some people, your skincare routine is like your relaxing bedtime routine before bed, just to help you unwind and relax. Please, can you hear me? Someone says she can't hear me. Let me know if I've been speaking to myself all this while. Please, can anyone confirm if you can hear me? And if you've been hearing me for the past 10, 15 minutes I've been talking. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Kingsfire. That means it's only from his patients. Okay. So just like we were discussing, you can also make your bedroom quiet and relaxing, keep the room at a comfortable, cool temperature, and also limit exposure to bright lights in the evenings. The reason we have this hormone called melatonin that is I will call it your body clock. Okay, it basically tells you when you should go to bed at night, and basically exposing yourself to bright lights, either from your electronics, basically electronics at night anyway, you can reduce that hormone stimulation sort of. Okay, so you have to turn off your electronic devices at least 30 minutes before bedtime. And also don't eat a large meal. I would recommend you don't eat past 7 p.m. Okay, if you can, keep to that. If you are hungry, you can eat something light and healthy. So you shouldn't be eating something like a hamburger, right? By 9 p.m. You shouldn't be eating Evan soup by 10 p.m. in the night. That wouldn't help you. And you can also exercise regularly and avoid consuming caffeine or coffee in the afternoon, or especially in the evening time, okay? So that you can unwind. And also alcohol tends to keep you up by your bedtime. So you can try to reduce that as well. And also reduce your fluid intake before bedtime. The reason for this is, I know some of you complain that you have to wake up in the middle of the night to use the restroom. So if you can reduce your fluid intake before you fall asleep, it can actually help you not wake up in the middle of the night to use the restroom, because then you wake up and then you can't go back to sleep, right? So if you can, reduce your fluid intake before bedtime. Okay. So can our diet really affect the way we sleep? The simple answer to this is yes. Your diet affects mostly everything, okay? Research indicates that if you have a poor intake of your vitamins, A, C, D, E, and K, as well as magnesium, it can affect the way you sleep. The reason being that these nutrients help to regulate your sleep hormones. And we have two major sleep hormones. We have melatonin and we have serotonin, if I get the name correctly. I don't think I got that right. So probably when I'm moving through my slides, I will see the name again properly. But melatonin is one of our primary sleep hormones. And according to the National Sleep Foundation, your wake and sleep cycle is regulated by your circadian rhythm, okay? It's sort of like an internal clock. So it tells you when you should wake up and when you should go to bed, okay? And these nutrients in the previous slide, A, C, D, E, and K, as well as magnesium, they can affect the way your brain releases melatonin, okay? And how your body clock, in quotes, is regulated, all right? So this is simply how your nutrients help you and help your sleep. So first of all, you have to eat properly so that your brain can release sleep hormones, melatonin and serotonin. Yes, serotonin, that's the name of the other one. These are basically important sleep hormones that your body releases. And this can also help to regulate your internal body clock. Your internal body clock tells you, it's what wakes you up in the morning and tells you, okay, you have to wake up now, you have to go to work now, or at night, okay, it's time for you to go to bed, you start feeling sleepy and all of that, okay? So tryptophan is one of the vitamins. It's actually it's an amino acid. It's an essential dietary amino acid. Essential amino acids are amino acids that you have to eat, or should I say they are proteins. Amino acids are like smaller forms of proteins, okay? So the essential ones are the ones that you have to eat. They are the ones that your body cannot make on their own. And if you are lacking your essentials, there is a problem, okay? So your essential ones you must eat. Your inessential ones, don't worry about those. Your body can make them on their own, on its own. Okay. So tryptophan is an amino acid that your body uses to produce serotonin, which is also one of the hormones that is known to regulate sleep, that your brain releases for sleep regulations, okay? And studies show that people who are above 55, who have difficulty falling asleep and staying asleep, when you eat a diet that is high in tryptophan, which is an amino acid, which is a protein. So basically, it's telling you that when you eat a diet high in protein, you are likely to have a higher increase of your serotonin and your melatonin. Okay, so what are these sources of foods that contain tryptophan? So you have nuts and seeds like sunflower seeds, chia seeds, sesame seeds, pumpkin seeds. All of these are high in nutrients. And also you have cheese, tofu, red meat, poultry, eggs, beans, oats are also good sources of tryptophan. Okay. However, as a hypertensive patient, please be careful about your red meat intake and your cheese intake. Okay. And also, I forgot to mention some nutrients that help us in regulating melatonin. So we have pistachio, we have walnuts, we have cherries, we have grapes, we have strawberries, tomatoes, bell pepper, kiwi, etc. Okay. All right, so let's move on. We've talked about melatonin and serotonin, and we've also discussed tryptophan. Another nutrient, or should I say a vitamin, is vitamin B complex. And like I said, all of these vitamins and proteins and minerals and whatever, they are simply to regulate how your body releases melatonin and serotonin. Okay, so if you have a good intake of your vitamin B complex, you are on the safer side, or should I say your brain is likely to reduce higher levels of melatonin to help you go to sleep better. Okay, and the other thing again is omega-3 and vitamin D. So you can find this in your fatty fish and salmon, can help you improve your sleep. Okay, now researchers think that it's because of these effects of nutrients on regulating serotonin. So foods like flax seeds, chia seeds, they are high in omega-3. They can help you if you eat them, or if you can simply supplement your omega-3s, there's no problem. You can simply supplement your vitamins, there's also no problem. Okay, but I'll also give you a list of foods you can eat for those of you that don't want to supplement. Okay, so we have things like mushrooms, eggs, and fortified dairy. They contain good levels of vitamin D and omega-3. Okay, and the other thing is magnesium, magnesium-rich foods. I would say mostly green, leafy greens, they are good sources of your magnesium. Okay, so avocados, bananas, beans, oatmeal, leafy greens, sweet corn, nuts, those are some good sources of magnesium and can help your body release more of melatonin and serotonin. Okay, so let's look at some special teas to help you sleep better if you want to completely avoid pills. Because some of these nutrients, like your omega-3, your vitamin D, your vitamin B, B complex, your vitamins A, C, D, E, K. For those of you who are on wellness supplements, you don't have to worry about those. Your multivitamin and your omega-3 capsules, they already cover those for you. So you don't have to worry about it. And wellness can help you, sleep better at night. But for those of you that want to completely avoid taking pills, I have some special teas to help you that you can take. So who is going to help me pronounce this name now? It's called reishi tea. It's found in China, or should I say it originates from China. Okay, you can take this 45 minutes before bed, and this can help to really regulate and boost your melatonin. And it also helps you relax and calm your anxiety. Okay, And before you ask, you can search for this on Jumia. I searched before this class and I actually saw some products there. Please, I am not affiliated with whoever is producing those products, so you may have to be careful. Make sure that you are getting the natural ones and there are no harmful artificials or preservatives that are contained in those, okay? But you can find these, all of these teas I'm going to mention, you can find them on Jumia, okay? And the next thing as well is chamomile tea. So they basically do the same thing. Even your vitamins that I've mentioned before, they help to do the same thing, which is basically boost your melatonin and serotonin levels. That's it, okay? If you want to sleep better, your brain has to release some certain hormones, melatonin and serotonin, and your diet will simply help your brain to release those hormones. And these teas can help to release those hormones as well, okay? So we also have chamomile tea and we have valerian root tea as well. They basically do the same thing, boosting your hormone levels, okay? All right, I have something in the chat. I've done that by typing the audio button. Oh, it seems Mrs. Patience really can't hear me. Okay, so like I've mentioned earlier, all of these earlier vitamins I've mentioned, including your omega-3s, are contained in your wellness supplements if you are on your wellness supplements, okay? So it can definitely help you sleep. And I have some testimonials here I'd like us to talk about. So this was actually, we got these testimonials back in May 2022. When our wellness supplements were just released into Nigeria, and we asked people to, test out the packs and give their reviews, either positive or negative. And this person says, I have problem waking up from sleep. I usually sleep late and wake up late, feeling tired and stressed out. But after starting with my pack, I sleep better every night and wake up the next morning feeling energetic and ready for the day. And this person says, I take mine at night and I no longer have to struggle out of bed in the morning, even when I sleep late or have less than 7 hours of sleep. I wake up with an extra burst of energy and I'm able to complete my morning workouts before 6:30 a.m. No more laziness. I also noticed a reduction in body pains. So why would wellness help someone sleep better? It helps bridge your nutritional gap, those essential nutrients that you are missing out on from your diets. It simply helps to fill up that gap for you and help your brain release more of these sleep hormones that we are talking about, okay? So this is what I simply explained here. Now, I want us to talk about something more serious. Now, if you are not suffering from what we call sleep apnea, and if you're not also suffering from insomnia, with your dieting and your exercise and your basic sleep hygiene, like I've talked about, in our earlier slides, remember I talked about basic sleep hygiene. These tips here can actually help you sleep if you take them seriously. And also improving your diet as well can also help you sleep better. But if you are suffering from sleep apnea and insomnia, you may actually need more help than, your dieting and your basic sleep hygiene. And this is at the point, or should I say, this is the point where some people actually recommended sleeping pills, okay, because you need extra help. Your diet alone cannot do it for you. Exercise alone cannot do it for you. Your basic sleep hygiene cannot do it for you. Some of you, even when you have the AC on, you are awake at 2 a.m., okay? So let's explain these terms. What is sleep apnea? It's a potential serious sleep disorder in which your breathing repeatedly stops and starts again. So if you snore loudly, some people can have sleep apnea and they won't snore, okay? So snoring is not a symptom per se, but if you snore loudly and you feel tired, even after, having a full night's sleep, chances are that you may have sleep apnea. And if you wake up at night without being able to go back to bed like normal people do, chances are you may be suffering from sleep apnea. And when you are also prescribed your medications, the medications can actually worsen sleep apnea in the long term, okay? And sleep apnea it's one of the causes, or when we say when poor sleep affects blood pressure, we are mostly saying people who suffer from sleep apnea and insomnia, okay? Either one of the two, all right? So let's look at this. When someone is suffering from sleep apnea, this is basically a graphical, or should I say, just a representation of what happens to their breathing. So what happens in sleep apnea is like your muscles basically sort of close your, I don't know what to call it. Should I say your thoracic cavity, or how you breathe, sort of, okay? Now, this is a normal breathing pattern. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Now, someone who has a limitation, or someone who suffers from 25% reduction of sleep apnea, we can say when they breathe in and when they breathe out again, it's sort of reducing, sort of decreasing, should I say. Okay, and someone who suffers from hypopnea, which is a 50% reduction, when they breathe in and breathe out, you are not even able to breathe in again continuously. And it's at that stage that you then notice that something is wrong with you, and then you wake up, you know, in the middle of the night, okay? But because you were asleep, you don't really realize that, okay, it was because something was wrong with my breathing that I woke up at night, okay? And if you suffer from 100%, you're basically not even breathing at all, and it can be a very serious thing. Unless if somebody sees you, you know, in the middle of the night, like your wife or whoever it is that you share a room with someone, and they notice that, look at this person is not actually breathing. That's when they notice, and then, you know, they wake you up. But sleep apnea, most people, this is what tends to wake you up at night. It's not really that you have to use the restroom. Okay, that's for those of you that suffer from sleep apnea. You just wake up in the middle of the night and you are unable to go back to sleep. Perhaps your breathing is being disrupted, okay? And how can we treat this? The first thing is try not sleeping on your back. So you have to sleep on your side, and then try breathing through your nose and not your mouth, okay? So try to make sure that at night your mouth is not open and you are not breathing in, you know, or exhaling through your mouth. Try to do it all through your nose, okay? And when you wake up at night, in order for you to go back to sleep, you can practice deep breathing method. We call it 4-7-8 method. So how it works is you close your mouth and you quietly inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Then you hold your breath for 7 seconds, and then you exhale through your mouth for 8 seconds, okay? Just to try and get your breathing and everything flowing again, okay? Before you then go back to sleep and breathe, and should I say, try to breathe through your nose, okay? Now, if this 4-7-8 method and not sleeping on your back and trying to sleep through, or should I say, trying to breathe through your nose and not your mouth is not working for you, please see a doctor, okay? And the next thing is insomnia. Now, insomnia is a very common sleep disorder. Even people that are not suffering from insomnia, when you just wake up at night, 1, 2, or 3 nights, you just say, oh, I'm suffering from insomnia. Please don't do that to yourself. I've noticed that when there's nothing wrong with you, and you then use your mouth to say that there's something wrong with you, that's when you actually develop whatever it is that you are saying. Like those of you whose blood pressure has never risen above 140, and you've been told that you are hypertensive, you automatically become hypertensive because you have this fear of hypertension already. Meanwhile, you are not even hypertensive. So please know it today. If your blood pressure has never risen above 140, please stop calling yourself a hypertensive patient, okay? So insomnia is a common sleep disorder. It makes it hard for someone to fall asleep. It makes it hard for someone to stay asleep, and it can cause someone to wake up too early and not able to go back to sleep, okay? So people who suffer from insomnia, they may still feel very tired when they wake up in the morning, and it can also drain your energy level and affect your mood. So some people will get like really cranky and angry, with everybody that talks to them in the morning, or when somebody annoys them, they can get very cranky or annoyed quite easily. So like I've said, please don't just diagnose yourself with insomnia, okay? For chronic insomniacs, your diet, your exercise, your supplements, your nutrients, your sleep hygiene alone would not be able to give you much help, okay? So how do we treat insomnia? I researched a lot about this topic, okay? And the truth of the matter is that for those who are suffering from insomnia, your nutrients, your diets, your exercise, no matter how cool your room is, or you try to go to bed early, you would still wake up in the middle of the night. So there is a treatment option that we call CBTI, and it's called Cognitive Behavioral Therapy for Insomnia. And it's a really good treatment option for insomniacs. Now, it's a therapy session, so you have to be speaking to someone. And those of you that fall into this category are people who tend to be quite anxious a lot. So for some of you who are really, really worrying about one thing or the other, your children's school fees, your house rent is due, your in-laws are having issues and different things like that, it can keep you up at night. That's the truth about it, okay? And when you are constantly up at night thinking about one or two things, it causes you to have this sort of anxiety, okay? And it can make you develop insomnia over time, okay? Now, if you fall into this category, your dieting, your exercise, all those things I mentioned before, they may not be able to help you that much, sincerely. So what you may need is a cognitive behavioral therapy, okay? Now, I know most of us are not very familiar with therapy. So what happens is that whoever is providing this service to you would help you to sort of identify your thoughts. Why do you feel like you can't go to bed at night? Why are you so worried? Talk about your feelings and your behaviors that are causing, or should I say, contributing to these symptoms of insomnia, okay? So I put this picture here just to show you what's going on. So some of you are worried about your finances. Some of you are going through one heartbreak or the other. Some of you, you're majorly worried about education, which is people like me, we can fall into this category, even though I don't deal with insomnia anyway. So if you can't, I don't know if this service is available in Nigeria, sincerely. Our medical line, we need help in this country, okay? But those people abroad, they have access to such therapy options. So what I would recommend for you is, if you know that the reason you are up at night is because you are thinking about one or two things, try speaking to someone who you know and trust to help you with those thoughts and feelings, and to really understand why you are so worried about them, okay? And to help you navigate through those, those thoughts and feelings that you have, and also your behaviors at night, okay? So don't wake up and then you are on your phone, or, you walk up and down, or you start eating in the middle of the night. So you can practice the 4-7-8 breathing technique that I mentioned in the last slide to help you try and go back to bed, okay? So if you are going through this CBTI method, it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of hard work, especially if you can't get a provider, like a therapist, to help you get through that process, okay? So I would just recommend try speaking to someone that you know and trust to help you navigate through those thoughts and feelings that are keeping you up at night. Okay, my best advice to you would be, please calm down. Everything would be okay. All right, so this is the end of my presentation. Do we have any questions for me? So now is the time for questions. And also, please let me know if this was helpful. For those of you who were really looking forward to this session, did I meet your expectation? Do you feel like I've given you a solution? Do you feel like this was a waste of time? Did I do a good job? So please let me know in the chat, okay? Questions, comments, thoughts, anything, I'm open to it. Someone raised their hand, I don't know. Mr. Stephen, do you have something to say? If we don't have any comments or questions, then we can go ahead and end this session. Okay, Pastor, for me, the session is recorded, so I would have to upload either to my Facebook page or my YouTube channel so that you can watch the replay. Thank you, Mr. Stephen. Yes, I would send the lecture. You're welcome. Okay, so if there is nothing else, that's it. We are done. I can't even believe we finished this under 40 minutes. That's good. Okay, so you can leave if you want to. Thank you, Mrs. Elizabeth. Did a fantastic job. What advice would you say about sleeping pills? For your sleeping pills, if you can avoid them, that would be great for you. But if you need them, please take your medications, okay? But I can't recommend, a sleeping pill for you, okay? You have to see your doctor for sleeping pill recommendations. If you can avoid them, please do. But if you absolutely need them, then there's no problem. You can take them, okay? Best teas before bedtime. I actually gave a list. I actually gave a list of teas. Let me go back and share it again. So you can take screenshots if you wish to. Valerian root tea, chamomile tea, and this tea name I can't pronounce. Reishi tea. You're welcome, Mr. Daniel. Some of these things we can eat are not allowed in our blood group lists. Please advise. Honestly, I'm still researching and learning a lot about this blood group thing. Okay, so research shows that you should eat according to your blood group. Okay, I don't have anything to say concerning that. I don't agree, neither do I disagree, because I am still doing my own, I'm still educating myself in that area. Okay. Well, can you tell me, did I mention anything that's not compatible, should I say, with your blood group, Mrs. Nkwachi Daylo? For these teas, you can find them on Jumia. I searched on Jumia. I was able to see this one. I was able to see chamomile. I don't think no, I didn't research on valerian root tea, but you can search for these two. They are available on Jumia. Okay. Yes, you will get access. You will get access to the recorded version. Yes, it was recorded. Okay. Any other thing? Any other thing? Let me see. I think I'm very familiar with some of you. I think I know Mrs. Nkwachi Delo and Mrs. Elizabeth and Mr. Paul and Mr. Ayobami. Even though I've not seen some of you, but from regular group chats, I know you. And Mr. Akintayo, yes, I spoke with you yesterday. And Mr. Thomas as well. And Mr. Sunday. Okay, so if we don't have any more questions, we can end this with your permission. Just let me know, can we end this now? Are you allowing me to go? Or do you still want us to talk? Okay, so